What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new Modern Warfare 2 video. In today's video, we're going to be jumping into the best setup here for the Fennec 45. The Fennec 45 is an incredibly good SMG with one of the fastest TTKs in the entire game, and you guys are going to be able to dominate your multiplayer and also even Warzone. If you happen to take this build into Warzone, you should be able to do some great work with that over there. So we'll be going ahead and breaking down this setup for you guys attachment by attachment, give you guys all the tune and everything, and of course, there is some Fennec MGB TAC new gameplay here in the background, so you guys can be able to see that this setup absolutely dominates here in public match multiplayer. It's incredibly good. I had a lot of fun using it. So if you guys haven't enjoyed today's video, be sure you guys give it a like and subscribe, those notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of my future content here in Modern Warfare 2 and of course Warzone 2. Now that all being said, let's actually hop into this. So the first thing we're going to be doing here is we're going to be taking a look at, of course, the muzzle category. The muzzle category is something you're going to be running in pretty much all of your SMGs, your ARs, anything like that in the game, and we actually went ahead and did something a little bit different here for this specific build. We actually tried out the FTAC Castle comp here for our very first attachment on this gun. This is going to help us out with that horizontal recoil control and of course vertical recoil control. What this does is gives you some freedom, some options on what you want to be able to do in terms of your underbarrel. If you do want to run one, if you do not want to run one, this gives you a lot of great options in terms of, you know, how that actually is going to work out. So I think you guys should 100% give the FTAC Castle comp a try when you're going to be using the Fennec 45. It's not a silencer, so it's not necessarily to keep you entirely off the radar and everything like that, but you will indeed have very good recoil control, and that works out very nicely. You could also take this into Warzone 2 because a lot of people run the FTAC in Warzone 2 just because, you know, it's really good, and you know, your people aren't really too concerned with, you know, getting seen on the radar in any capacity, so it actually works out very, very nicely. As far as the tuning goes for the FTAC Castle comp, we've actually gone ahead and maxed this thing out here for that recoil stabilization just to be able to get as much recoil control as possible. We've also gone ahead and maxed it out there for the aiming idle stability for negative 0.35, and of course the recoil stabilization is the maximum at 0.80. You can mess with some of these different attachments to be able to, you know, fine tune it out, because sometimes it actually doesn't get you the maximum benefit when you are even at, you know, the far end. So if you want to go strictly for ADS speed, you may not even get maximum ADS speed by sliding it all the way to one side. It's a little bit like kind of misleading in terms of, you know, how it's actually laid out here within the sort of like diagram. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but we've got to tune this specifically for this way. Next up, in order to be able to kind of bolster here the overall, you know, magazine ammo capacity of this gun, we went ahead and chose the Fennec 45 mag, because the other one is pretty much just the 12 round mag that you can be able to do that we had in Modern Warfare 2019, which realistically was not good in any capacity. We need to be able to have more magazine, or more rounds in our magazine, my bad. We need to be able to have more sort of rounds in there, just because the Fennec's got incredibly high fire rate, probably one of the, you know, higher fire rates in the entire SMG class. And so if you're going to be, you know, trying to take out, you know, 2, 3, 4 people at a time potentially before you get a reload in, as long as you're accurate with those shots, you can be able to do that as long as you have that 45 round mag in there. So it definitely comes in very clutch, very handy. You will lose a tad bit of your mobility, but I think that's definitely worthwhile trade-off in terms of being able to have more ammo in your magazine. Some guns you can get away with not having that, like maybe like the Castav 74U or some of the different assault rifles, but I do believe the Fennec kind of requires you to have a bit of an extra of an ammo in your magazine. And of course, when it comes down to everything, you can't tune the Fennec 45 magazine. You just really can't do that. Or if you happen to choose like a laser or something, those really aren't tunable either. Next up, jumping into the optics section, this is not necessarily something you have to run on your gun. I chose to run it for this specific build here just because I wanted to be able to try something a little bit different than when I made a previous Fennec setup, and we're running the Cronin Mini Dot and then the Cronin Mini Pro. This is a red dot sight. In order to be able to actually unlock this red dot sight, you have to get the Expedite shotgun up to level 7. It's kind of a little bit weird, but this is the blue dot in this game. So if you guys want to be able to have that red dot sight on your guns, or have the ability to equip it onto any of your guns, definitely go ahead and use the Expedite shotgun, get that up to level 7. That should be very, very simple, very easy, especially in multiplayer. If you play something like Kill Confirmed, you'll get XP very, very fast. So you'll be able to get that, and this is a great sight to run on a variety of your different guns. It's super simple, super easy to be able to get, and it just looks incredible in game. It's one of my favorite sights personally to run on every single gun. Now, jumping into the tuning for this, what we've gone ahead and done is we maxed out this for aim down sight speed, just because I want to get the maximum ADS benefit out of this gun. And the way the graph actually moves and looks is that this does give you the maximum ADS benefit here when you max out that slider. And we also have not messed with the close or the far range on this because we don't need to do that. There's no sort of more benefit. We're not going to get as much of a benefit out of messing with that. We just need to max out the ADS speed. We can leave everything else perfectly fine, just standard as is. For our fourth attachment here on on this gun, what we're doing is we went into the stock section and we're running the Agile Assault T-7 stock. And this is a really great stock here. This gives you that increase in sprint speed, aim walking speed, crouch movement speed, and ADS speed, but it's actually not going to mess with your recoil stabilization and control too much, as opposed to something like, you know, if you run the pretty much the no stock, the FTAC stock cap. That's basically the no stock for this gun. You run that, that's going to very much so mess with your recoil stabilization and everything like that, and you're going to have to drastically change up your build. So this is a great attachment to be able to, you know, increase your mobility without messing up the rest of the gun too much. Now for the tune on this specific stock here, what we went ahead and did is we maxed this out for ADS speed just to kind of help us out here be as agile as possible. We also went ahead and maxed it out for aiming idle stability, as I believe those are the two things we really are looking for. We don't care as much about the aim walking speed. I really don't go for aim walking speed on a majority of my builds, or pretty much 90+% of my builds. I've tried out like a kind of like an M4 build where I went ahead and I maxed out a lot of the aim walking speed benefits. It was actually pretty good, but otherwise I really don't go for that all that much, and this actually works out very nicely for this specific attachment here. If you guys happen to run the Agile Assault T7 stock, when you combine all these things together I've showed you guys so far, it's really solid. And then for our last attachment here on the Fennec 45, we have the Fennec rubber grip. What this does is increases our overall sprint to fire speed and our ADS speed. When you combine this with all the other attachments we put on this gun, it makes it very agile, but it's also not going to mess with recoil control too much, because we have the FTAC Castle Comp on our muzzle, and that does incredible, you know, work in terms of, you know, your horizontal and vertical recoil control. So we're perfectly taken care of in that regard. And we also tuned it out for recoil stabilization in terms of just, you know, not making it strictly for ADS speed, which is normally something I would do, but based on the rest of the build, we had to kind of, you know, finagle some stuff together in order to be able to make it controllable and usable at those closer to medium-ish ranges. And adding this on here is just going to overall help you in terms of being, you know, more agile and mobile in the game. And then the tuning on this thing here is going to be maxed out for that ADS speed benefit and that sprint to fire speed benefit. We really like that. It's not going to mess with everything else too much on this thing. That's one of the things I really like about the Fennec rubber grip, is that I run this or anything else like this on a lot of guns just because I love sprint to fire and ADS speed. They've really slowed Modern Warfare 2 down, and, you know, in that regard, so this really helps you out in terms of just being able to, you know, feel like you can move around the map a little bit more fluidly. I love having an aggressive style of play. I don't like sitting back or camping or nothing like that. I'm not a what they call a sentinel player. I don't like doing any of that shenanigans. I don't think it's worth it. It's not a fun play style. That's kind of why I'm not doing Warzone 2 as much right now, just because you have to play super slow, and it's just really not my, you know, my pacing at the moment. But overall, those are all my attachments for the Fennec 45. It's a fantastic SMG you guys should be leveling up and using. It's great for multiplayer. It's great for Warzone. It's got an incredibly fast TTK. You can build it out to be very agile. There's also a variety of builds you can make, so there's not like there's going to be one build that's super god tier awesome. You have to kind of mess around, figure out some stuff for yourself, but what I showed you guys is a great one. So if you guys happen to have enjoyed today's video, if you want to see more like this, be sure to give it a like, subscribe as notifications turned on. We're on the road to 900,000 subscribers. It'd be awesome for each and every single one of you to join the squad. With that being said, I'll see you guys all later. Just Arnold Cap, don't be Randy, and I'm out. Peace.